Hey there, lovely people. Welcome to Be Your Best You with Tash and Becky, your go-to hangout for all things spiritual, subconscious, and downright magical. We're here to sprinkle a little mystical wisdom into your everyday life and help you level up your reality.
Picture this as your cosmic coffee date, where we chat about the unseen world, blend in some psychology vibes and stir up the subconscious magic. Get ready to be the queen of your own reality, live a life that lights you up and have a blast doing it.
So grab your latte or your tea and let's dive into another episode of Be Your Best You, where the mystical meets the mundane and your best life awaits.
Cheers to creating magic together.
Let's do this.
Hi, welcome back to another episode of Be Your Best You with Tash
and Becky, the 2 a.m. question edition.
And this question is, what if our reality is controlled by dark forces?
Oh my goodness.
Brief summary, strap in, come with an absolute open mind. We're talking junk DNA, alien beings creating humanity, reptilians controlling our matrix, a false matrix that has been infected and is controlling us right now, and most importantly, how they are taking our consent unconsciously to do things that they're telling us they're doing in the open, and we are giving permission without realizing. So this one is about telling you how you revoke your consent, how I'm actually doing it at the moment, and why it's so important for you all to be doing this right now.
Yes.
Enjoy this crazy one, guys. Before we start, if your mind is constantly telling you, I should be doing more, and you're stuck in that cycle of overthinking, pressure, and never feeling like you've done enough, we've made you a free 12-minute audio reset. It's called Return to Self, and it's linked in the show notes. And today, this question is, what if our reality is being controlled by dark forces? How many people sit there at night and go, oh my God, are we being controlled? Are we in some kind of dark matrix?
It's the time you're doing it, isn't it? It's pretty scary.
Yeah. But as always, we don't like to be scary.
No.
We like to be empowering, but we also like... So anyone who's not watching, I just did a little, what should we call that?
It's almost like a pantomime, when they slap their thigh.
Yeah, just one of them.
Come on, guys.
Anywho, if you're not watching, why are you not watching? It's so much better when you can see us. Anyway, go catch us on YouTube. You can subscribe over there. Right, sorry guys. Okay, so as always, we are going to come at this from an empowering point of view, not from a fear-based view, but what we have definitely come to understand as we've gone about our journey, though this isn't how we saw it in the very first instance. We have to acknowledge that there is dark and there is light, and we do live in a universe of polarity, and Earth is definitely one of the places that you come when you want to learn about polarity, and there's lots of reasons for that. But I think that if you just look at it from a perspective of love and light, you're not going to quite get it.
Right.
And most importantly, you're not going to have full control over yourself. And now I will use the term sovereignty, because I think maybe you've heard this word before, maybe you haven't, but sovereignty, yeah, that's how you say it. I always struggle to say it. Sovereignty is basically when you are the master. This is how I explain it.
Yeah.
You are the master of your energy. You are the master of your world, your creation. You are absolutely in control, and no one or nothing else is allowed to interfere with you.
Right.
So personally, I believe that we are all here to remember that we are sovereign beings.
Yeah.
And that can work for the work that we do on a kind of subconscious level, like all the stuff that I work with in terms of, our limiting beliefs, where we start looking at victim mentality and we start trying to stop controlling other people's behavior and start reflecting it back to ourselves. So that kind of on that level. But then also, more importantly, I actually think, but not so much addressed, and this is what this episode is going to address, is that we need to have energetic
Right.
sovereignty.
Yes.
And that's what this episode is about. So let me tell you why we decided to do this one, actually, because this is a bit different for me, isn't it? I'm going a little bit out of my comfort zone because, as you all know, I've said before, I don't tend to talk about things on here until I've worked my way through it, got a firm understanding of it, and then can kind of repeat it back to you. But I have been getting messages left, right and centre that is basically saying, like, you need to talk about this now. It's really important. Stop, like, don't delay it.
Yeah.
Do it now.
Yeah.
And so I am. So then that being said, this is very, like, I've kind of just been dipping my toe into this within the last, how long would you say, what, month or so?
Oh, yeah, not long.
It's really not long. And I was led to it, as I do get led to these things. I have certain things coming to my awareness, certain kind of like concepts or topics, and then it's almost like I just get given all the information from every area, and so I know that's the thing that I'm supposed to be focusing on next.
Yeah.
And this happened about a month ago, but it was something that I fought a little bit because I didn't necessarily want to look at it. It went, quite a bit of it, as I dug into it, went against my newfound spiritual belief system, which I struggled to accept some of the stuff. But again, it was great practice for me to be like, no, remember, beliefs are malleable.
Yeah.
And just because this is your new belief system from when you had an awakening doesn't mean that it can't be questioned again. I don't ever want to be caught in the trap of staying fixed again. Yeah. So I'm very aware that I always need to stay open. I need to, like, look at if there's anything where I'm thinking, nope, I don't agree with that. I don't believe that. If there's a strong feeling of that, which I did get with this, then I know that it's worth looking at. Plus, I'm always listening to my intuition. And as much as I didn't want to look at all of this stuff, I absolutely knew that I had to. Yeah. It's important. And now it is, like I said, it's coming at me left, right and centre from the strangest of ways. And I cannot, like, deny that I'm clearly getting told that we need to talk about this. Right. And it feels important to me. Like, it genuinely feels important that I need as many people as possible to hear this. Now, because I don't know an awful, like, intellectually, like, information gathering like I like to do, I don't have a lot of it. So I'm just going to share where I've got so far and what I'm actually doing to prevent interference and to ensure that I am constantly having my sovereignty intact as much as I possibly can. Yes. And we spoke about my healing session, didn't we? Like some podcast episodes ago, and this kind of ties in with that. And actually, it come into my awareness before my energy healing, and then the energy healing kind of really, really rammed it home and made it real for me, which is another reason why I really decided to dive into it more. So we've done an episode on, like, life is a simulation. Like, this is a simulation. So if you haven't listened to that, go back and listen to that one first. That's a good one. Yeah, it was a really popular episode as well, actually, and we loved doing it, didn't we? Yeah. So we've spoken about how life is this kind of simulation. But what I've started to kind of come up against, and you'll all understand why it's kind of like pushed my boundaries a bit, it's tested me a bit, is because it kind of goes against a lot of what I was working with in my hypnotherapy with the limiting beliefs. Okay. So basically, let me tell the concept first, and then we'll dive into it. I'm beginning to believe that there is some kind of, let's keep it computer terms, I suppose, some kind of virus, kind of virus that has come into our simulation. I am really making this in my own language. I'm making this up to try and make it make sense. Yeah. Okay. So I think, like, a lot of people call it a false matrix. Where I've been diving, it's very detailed energetically wise, talking about, like, sacred geometry, geometric systems. It gets really, really mathematical, and I just haven't quite got my head around it yet, so we don't want to talk in terms of that. But please know that I am, like, highly watering this down because I haven't got the full mechanics up in my head yet. I will. And another thing was that I said to you, I was like, I can't share this yet. In the early days when I first got into it, I was like, I don't feel like I can share this because this is just going to come from fear, and I don't want to scare people, and I don't think that people need to necessarily hear it. But then I'm like, well, actually, that's like, what? That's bad. That's gatekeeping. Like, why would I do that? I'm so against that. Like, I'm just like, whatever I know, I want to share.
Right.
And who am I to say whether people can handle it or not? But that's why I've kind of disclaimed this with, this isn't coming from fear. This is coming from empowerment. Yeah. And effectively my big overall arching message here is that I want everyone to know that potentially we do have a virus infected into our simulation. And we are attached to it and being controlled by it, and we're being interfered with it without us knowing. And I feel like part of the thing that is going on right now with all this awakening and everything that's changing, if you're in the spiritual world, you know what I mean when I say that. Everything's changing, everything's coming to the surface. I think part of this is that we are having to remember and realise that we are in an infected simulation, and we have to actively revoke our consent from it, because my brain's going all over the place now. So that's what this episode is. I want to tell you basically how I am now actively trying to go about getting myself disconnected from this false matrix. Yeah. So where should I go? My brain's like going, let's go with the reptilian thing for a second. Okay. Again, don't know enough about this to talk confidently, but I'll tell you where I've got to. So it came into my awareness of these like reptilians. Obviously, I've known about this for years and years and years. My cousin used to talk about this, and I was like, crazy girl, like, what you talking about? And now I'm like, oh, she knew like 20 years ago. So these reptilians are like an alien race. Yeah, strap in, guys. This is going to get crazy. They're an alien race, right? Very, very old. Part of us, actually. We've got part like reptilian DNA. This is a whole long story. I am not going to go all into this right now. But our history, I believe our history is not what we've been told. Our DNA is not what we've been told. You hear this junk DNA. And I remember hearing about junk DNA when I was like, a teenager doing biology, A-levels, etc. And I'm like, junk DNA? That doesn't ring true to me. Like, everything is so perfectly created within us. Why would we have junk DNA?
Exactly.
Don't buy into it.
And let's not acknowledge it. Let's call it junk.
Exactly.
So no one acknowledges it. Therefore, we're on some level consenting to that we have junk DNA.
Yes.
It's just a load of rubbish, isn't it?
Exactly. So this is a huge tangent, but it's going to come back to why we're, what this false matrix is and why you need to revoke your consent. To cut a long story short, we humans are an amalgamation of a lot of different alien DNA. We were created as slaves by an alien race. Eventually, God, there's just so much. I don't know how I've gone down this rabbit hole. My God. Eventually, powers that be, good powers that be, Galactic Federation or whatever you want to call them, basically decided that we as humans needed to have our own free will. It wasn't right. And these reptilian beings had to kind of stop controlling us, basically. Right. That is a hugely, hugely bastardized version of it. Like, if you're interested and you're not listening and going, Tasha, what are you on about? You're crazy or you've lost me. Go and just research. Yeah. Like, I don't even know what you type in. I don't even know how you get there. Like, alien DNA in humans or something like that. You'll start seeing things like Anunnaki, reptilians, galactic federations, all these kind of things. Then you'll know that you're on the right path. Right. And it'll basically explain to you a whole different version of your human history, like what we've been told in science and history, we are all starting to realize, I'm sorry, if you're in this world, you're starting to realize it's all a load of crap that we've been fed. And this is all part of the false matrix, this infection that they've done to wipe us and make us forget who we are, and take away our power effectively. Well, actually, it's more nefarious than that, because it's actually we're giving away our power.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk about this.
Yeah,
exactly.
They're so sneaky.
Yeah. So basically, the reptilians they were here first before humans. Yeah. To be fair, like credit where credit's due. The Earth, they were on the Earth before us.
Yeah.
But they didn't like that humans were then kind of given a little bit more clout, basically, because we were just slaves. They were controlling us, they were using us, they were above us, and then they didn't like the fact that humans were now kind of given this platform where they're like, no, leave them alone. Also, because we are a mixture of loads of different star races, of lots of like alien beings, junk DNA, we are very powerful.
Right.
And the reptilians don't like that, because we're actually more powerful than them.
Wow.
And they know that. But this is where the whole false matrix comes in, making us forget who we are. So it's making me think of, I'm going to divert to explain as an analogy. When I went to Thailand, we went to an elephant sanctuary. It was an ethical elephant sanctuary. I just want to say that. We did a lot of research, and it was so informative. And the Thai people running it were like actually going against their own people here as well to protect the elephants. It was a whole thing to probably talk about that. But it was amazing. Anyway, so as they were educating us and they were telling us about their culture and what happened, basically I was just like, I just had this like whole aha moment and a bit of a download about like how it related to us and the reptilians. So we all know elephants, they're huge creatures. They're very, very powerful. I know you do. And they're very powerful. And they are way more powerful than us. Ooh, and they can kill you in an instant. I mean, when I went there, one of the elephant handlers was actually in hospital. He nearly died. He'd been in hospital for 3 months because a mum thought that he was hurting her baby, and she just came and she just smashed him up, crushed him up against a wall. And luckily, another handler got him out. Someone before that had actually died from this big bull elephant. And the reason I'm telling you that is because they were also telling us about how the Thai people kind of keep these elephants from babies, keep them under control. And it's just horrific what they do. They just bash their spirits down. So they're using these horrible tools, and it's all mental mind games as well, that they make them believe from a baby, from captivity, when in captivity when they have them, that they have literally no power, and that the human has all the power. Right. And they are so beaten down by this, like psychologically, that they're terrified. They won't. So there was one elephant that got rescued there, and she was an old lady. She was like 65. She'd been in like the circus all her life. She wouldn't even have a drink without being told to. That was how broken that they get them, because they have to, because the elephants are so powerful, and because they know they could kill them at any instant unless they are absolutely like so that's how bad it is. She wouldn't have a drink without being told she could have a drink, and this is what they do. Okay. And so that's how they control them. But then these Thai people who are rescuing the elephants, that they say this is wrong and it needs to stop, they then stop harming them. They stop having these horrible pickaxe and stuff where they they're scared of, and they let them be free. They let them do what they want. And all of a sudden the elephant goes, oh, I am actually powerful. Like I have I can do this. I can go over there. Well, well, I'm not putting up with that puny human anymore. And then they attack them. And that's what happened with the people in this sanctuary, right? Because they know, all of a sudden they're like, hang on a minute, they've woken up. They remember, oh, I'm more powerful than the human. And then there's nothing a human can do. There is nothing a human can do against a wild elephant who realizes its own power. And I realized, I was like, oh my God, that's us.
Exactly.
This is what this infected simulation, this infected false matrix
Wow.
has done to us. So there was nothing there was no prison, there was no cage, there was nothing that was keeping those elephants from killing all of the handlers over all of the years that they've ever had elephants in captivity, either whether they're working or in a circus and entertainment, etc. Nothing was stopping them except a belief that that tiny human was bigger and more powerful than them, and they would hurt them, right? So it's the same as us. It's just a belief. And so for me, that did something to me then. That was back in April. That did something to me
I'm
then.
not surprised.
And it was like, this is how I've kind of been led on to this, as I was like,
what a great example.
Yeah, it's just a perfect example of that. So effectively, the reptilians are the humans, we're the elephants.
Yeah.
Okay. So all they're relying on is us not fighting back, is us via us not remembering who we are and remembering we have the power and we are actually so much more powerful than them. And this is where like the psychic gifts and the junk DNA starts coming back into it as well. When we remember who we are, we start and when I say that in like kind of real life terms, that's us looking into our intuition and starting to think, oh, you know, like
and questioning things.
Right? Then we start realizing, oh, I'm pretty good at, I just read that person's mind there, or I knew that person was going to text me but just before they text me, or like I knew she was going to say that, or blah, 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 all of that. That's actually our junk DNA coming online.
Yeah.
Well, I believe anyway.
Definitely.
And they don't want that. That's why they put fluoride in our water to calcify our pineal gland, because that's our receiver of information. You know, our brain is just a receiver of the energy, like stuff that's flying around here. And our pineal gland is like here in our brain, which is why they call it the third eye. So that's linked to your third eye chakra, right? When they put fluoride in the water systems and in your toothpaste, where the dentist is telling you, make sure you brush your teeth with the fluoride toothpaste and don't rinse it out, keep it in your mouth. That's the new rule, right?
That's a new one.
Yeah. You're calcifying your pineal gland because there's electromagnetic crystals in there. So you can go and have a look at all of this. Like this is old news to me now, but this is all kind of, you know, it all comes together, right? So that's why they want to do that, because they do not want you to have your full access to your abilities and your powers, because then you remember who you are and you stand up against them as well. Okay. So huge tangent, but this is all relevant, right? There was something else that I wanted to say when my brain was going off in two ways, but I can't remember what the other one was, but I'll come back to it. Okay. So that's a brief history of the human. Of the human.
Oh,
this is who you are. You are powerful.
Fascinating.
But that whole thing to say, they are absolutely reliant on keeping us down.
Yeah.
Now, here comes the sneaky part about this false matrix, and what you were saying about, you know, the consent. They get our consent. Okay, so this is a whole nother wormhole, rabbit hole, I should say, snake hole, maybe. And again, like, I encourage you to go and have a look. There's so much out there. And all this stuff that, you know, we say is conspiracy theory. This episode is asking you to put all of that to one side a second. And I totally understand, because like I said, my cousin tried to tell me all of this years ago. And I just wouldn't have any of it. I wouldn't even entertain it. She would send me things to read, and I was just like, what a load of junk. I'm not. Irony. Yeah. I'm not reading it.
Yeah.
So just be open-minded, because this is where it gets sneaky, because they do it in plain sight, and they are actively encouraging us to all go crazy conspiracy theory. That person's nuts. That's what they're relying on to keep us in this false illusion.
Which is what they're losing, I think, aren't
they? This is where people are waking up and they are starting to question and go, hang on a minute. And when you question, it's so obvious, because they're doing it in plain sight. You look, and when you actually look with eyes to see, you're like, no way, this is insane. And this is done for a reason, okay? Because let's go back to the whole galactic thing, the whole galactic federation. There's certain like laws and rules, and I think we've all heard of the law of free will, which is we do ultimately have free will. Humans have been given free will. And also there's a universal law of non-interference. So
Right.
they are not allowed to interfere with Earth school. They're, we have to be part of free will is that, no one else can come in and interfere because then it's not free will. There are exceptions. They will, because we're all connected, if we're about to blow Earth to smithereens and it's going to affect other galaxies, other universes, then they will stop it.
Right.
Which apparently that's been done many times.
Really?
Yeah. There's been lots of stops.
I bet.
Yeah. Well, you can imagine that.
Yeah.
It seems right, isn't it?
It does.
But again, this is stuff. I am not claiming this is the truth, and I'm not claiming this is exactly how it is. This is a 2 a.m. question series.
Exactly.
It's built to let your mind open and wonder and become curious, because this is how you start waking up and you start getting your sovereignty back, this is why we're doing this episode. Okay. Yeah. In always question, always, because we need to get our sovereignty back. Right. Yeah. So to get back to the really important point, and why I think this message has to come out is because people aren't aware, right? But they are doing this in plain sight because they can't interfere. And because we have free will, they're sneaky little buggers, the reptilians or the dark forces. Yeah. And they get your consent in unconscious ways. Yeah. So one of the things that they have to do is they have to say outright, this is what we're going to do. So if you'll find that movies, stuff on social media, songs, there's all kinds of stuff, TV shows,
that they
images,
might flash up.
Yes. And it can be subliminal. Sometimes it's right out in the open. This whole The Simpsons thing, The Simpsons predict the future. No, they don't. It's them saying, this is what we're going to do. And by us just watching it and going, it's entertainment, and looking along, we are consenting. This is why it's sneaky, because we're not consciously consenting, but unconsciously we absolutely are.
Because we dismiss it as entertainment.
Yes, we dismiss it, but most importantly, what we're doing is we are not saying, I do not consent to this. Yeah. We are not consciously and actively saying, I do not consent to you distorting my energy field, to you distorting my reality, my simulation. And so in so doing, it's a loophole, and we are agreeing unconsciously. And this is why I feel like this is why it's really important to get this out. Because if you believe me or don't believe me, or if this is too much, I totally get it. But if I could just say, be aware that there is a lot going on and they are unconsciously getting your consent by you not being aware of this. And God, isn't that great for them? Just remember the elephants. Just know that you are so much more powerful than them, and say, I do not consent to you having that pick in my ear and punching me every time I go to try and expand or do something and step out of your slavery system, basically, because that's what we're in. That's what this 9 to 5 fighting for survival. It's a slavery system, and we're keeping ourselves in it. And every time we try and get out of it, they'll do something that makes us stay small again, something fear-based, that will make us stay small. So it's not about going out there and just going, F the system, and I'm not doing this, and I'm not paying tax, I'm not doing that. It's not that. It's energetically is much more important. Do not consent to anything that is within this false matrix. Okay, so I'm just going to leave it there because we could talk. This is a whole nother episode. We could talk about that. I'm going to leave that there. I want to just quickly divert to our healing sessions quickly. Now, we're going to do an episode on that because we've been asked to talk about that, haven't we? Yeah. But so to not go into too much detail, but one of the things that we did in our energy healing session, it was not that long ago, is the intent. We always set an intention for it, and we always connect into our team, our spirit guides, etc., beings that work with us, which we kind of know who they are now. And the intention was help us disconnect from this false matrix, help us kind of make sure that we are connecting to true source. Yeah. To what's real, basically. Yeah. I just remembered what I wanted to say before I go on to that. Years ago, when I first started getting into this world, and I started kind of getting visuals, and I was very, in my early stages, I got a lot of kind of visions and stuff, didn't I? And I used to do my grounding and protection and stuff for the world, for humanity. And it's something that I always did. Something that I saw was that I would always see Earth, and then I'd see this from space.
Yeah.
And then I'd see this kind of grid around the Earth.
Yeah.
And I didn't know what it was, but it was like a net.
Yeah.
It was a net of light. This is how I'm seeing it. And what I would do is, and I would see, and again, this is no one, I had never read this. This was just coming from me. It was very early on. And I would see energy coming up from the Earth, from certain points on Earth, and going up and feeding this light grid.
Right.
I would also see like me being connected to this grid. And I had this like understanding that I was doing energy work, like I was holding the energy of the grid, this grid, which I didn't know what it was. And there were other people as well all around the Earth, and I could kind of see them, and they were doing the same thing.
Yeah.
And what I was always led to do was, when I saw this grid, was like it was disconnected, so it was dull. And it was, it just felt wrong. And so what I was doing in my meditations or visualizations was I was pulling energy up from the Earth and through from myself, and I was sending it up to this grid, and I was lighting up this grid into like a gold light. So I was transforming it. I didn't know what I was doing. Then I started getting led to different sites around, like sacred sites around the Earth. So I'd find myself in the pyramids or in Uluru, like Ayers Rock in Australia, or the Mount Fiji in Japan. I find myself in all these places, and I'd realise that I had no idea that Ayers Rock was sacred, and I didn't know it was called Uluru. I just saw it in a dream. Do you remember?
Yeah, I do.
With blue aliens,
That
and
was
then
so
we found
weird.
out, and so I didn't know what I was doing, but I just kept doing it anyway.
And it felt good.
And it felt really good. And I was like, yes, I'm doing something. Energetically, I am doing something here. Fast forward years and years, and I come across this false matrix thing. And I'm like, maybe that's what it was. Maybe like energetically, I'm helping to delete this false matrix, or at least reinforce the protection of the true matrix, this true gold one. So then jumping back, the reason I said that is jumping back to our healing sessions when we set the intention, help us connect. So do whatever we need to do to make sure that we are in like alignment with that source energy. You started doing the healing on me, and automatically I became aware of this gold netting being put around my whole body, like an energetic gold net around my whole body. And with one connection, just one gold connection coming from the top of my head that was going straight to true source, like almost bypassing this false matrix and going out up into this energetic true source. And then I saw all these kind of like, I saw them as, how did I describe them? I'm trying to think. I think they were like kind of like grey, wiry tubes, almost a little bit like in the Matrix, where you know they were
wires.
plugs. It was wires, but it was like thicker. It was like cables. That's what it was, not wires, cables. And they were connected to all kind of the areas of my body. And then when you were doing the healing, I was imagining them being pulled out and cut off, so that all these things they were siphoning, like this false matrix, this virus was plugged into my energy field, and it was siphoning me and distorting my energy in all over the place. And in that energy healing, then when they were working through you, I felt all of these like plugs, like wires, come out of me. So the only thing I had is this gold net of like cable netting around me. It's like netting, gold, which felt very strong, with one gold connection straight up. And I was like, that was good. So loads of stuff happened in that healing around that, but we won't talk about that now. So I found that really interesting, that was what I was shown. And straight away I connected it to the visions I had ages and ages ago about doing that for Earth. So once, and this is the power of your intention, and this is again why I wanted to share this, because I don't have an awful lot of information to share with you, but what I do have is practical tips that I'm doing. I'm not telling you this is gonna work or this is the right thing to do, but this is what I'm doing, and it's definitely helping me. So hopefully it will help you if you resonate with this. Since that energy healing, I know that they were clearing our energy fields to get us out of the interference. So I always now use that image that they gave me when I was on the bed while you were healing, of this net that's my anchor point that I will do throughout the day. I will check in throughout the day, and I will visualize that netting. And that one connection that goes out past the false matrix grid and connects straight into true source, where there is no distortion, where it's just truth and love. And that helps me maintain my sovereignty. And then every time I do that, I say, I do not consent. I revoke all consent, unconscious or conscious, from the false matrix, any distortions across all timelines. Now I am a sovereign being.
Oh, write that down.
Yes.
Honestly.
I'll say it one more time.
Yeah, go on.
So I imagine that netting with the one connection, and I say, I revoke any consent, unconscious or conscious, to the false matrix. I remove any distortions that are connecting me to the false matrix across all timelines. I am a sovereign being. So you don't have to say those exact words. That's what I say, because that means something. Like, I feel that.
Sure.
That means something to me. The most important thing that you do is you have the intention that you revoke any consent that you have given, consciously or unconsciously. You have to have, it's less about the words and more about the feeling. Because God, if you could feel the feelings that go through me every time I say
imagine.
that, I'm basically like F you. Like, you, how dare you do that? How dare you infect our system? How dare you make me forget who I am? I will not play any part of it. I will not play a part. Remove me. And then I'll picture the things that I saw, like the wires, and I will just do another double check. I don't feel like they're in me anymore, but I will just do, like, I'll just get a massive sword of light, or I call in any of my helpers, and say, just remove any ties, any wires, any plugs that are distorting my energy from this false matrix.
Because like you say, they can creep back in at any time, can't they?
Yes, because we're always like, they've got us. It's so insidious. It's so insidious. But this is what I'm saying. Like, this isn't about scaring people or making people feel like it's hopeless or like, what the hell am I living in?
No, I don't feel that. It's
just about, remember who you are. You are powerful. Remember the elephant. And just by you having this awareness of, like, what's going on here? And just saying, like, I do not consent to any of this distortion. Because the problem is with this distortion now, if we just talk a little bit about what could be happening, and this is where it bumped up against my belief system. Right. Because obviously everybody knows that I talk about, like, you're a creator of your reality. If things aren't going right, if there's like certain things are happening, you need to reflect it back on you and look back at yourself. What is it that you're doing? It's basically putting the onus back on you. But what was bumping up against my belief system was that when I was like hearing people talk about or reading things or looking at these things that are happening and thinking, oh, what if it's not all us? What if this false matrix is distorting energetically things that are happening, and actually doesn't matter what we do with our limiting beliefs, etc., etc. If this is being distorted, if they are messing with our reality, we're not going to get what we should be having. And that really messed with me, because I'm like, oh, hang on a minute. Don't throw another variable in there. I just got it under control with the whole subconscious limiting belief stuff. What you're telling me now, that even if I do that, they still can, like, just, what?
But still, like, part of the journey, isn't it? Like, you absolutely had to go through that to get to this. You can't just go straight to that.
No,
can you?
And you still have to do the whole.
You do have to do it,
because there is an amount of free will. Exactly. Yeah. But I think it's just important to know. Again, this whole thing is just about awareness, if nothing else. That there is potentially nefarious beings. That are controlling, like, they're messing with our reality, like, even down to like 5G towers and stuff, right? Like, sending out messed up frequencies. Like, we are frequency. We know we're energetic beings. We are frequency beings. Like, the energetic heartbeat of the earth is like, 483 hertz or something like that. Like, we are supposed to be resonating the same as Mother Earth. Like, that's where we fit. That's why grounding helps, because we come into resonance with the earth's natural heartbeat and natural frequency, which brings on feelings of calm, peace, clarity, and ultimately remembrance of who we are. If they distort the frequency, if they're chucking out distorted frequencies, we are never going to feel calm. We're going to feel anxious. We're going to feel disconnected. We're going to feel like we're not seeing clearly. All of the stuff that everybody's feeling right now, right? Even look at the songs. Go and have a look.
Yeah.
Like this, all frequencies were set to like 400. Like I might
Whatever
be getting these, but
the-
it's 440 hertz or something.
Yeah.
Back in
Before
19
Rockefeller.
something, it was the Rockefellers that decided that they would slightly change the hertz on
And
all
why?
songs. So now every song that's being put out there, unless it's being made by someone who is aware of this, who will
Yeah.
absolutely do it in 440 hertz,
Yeah.
it's being put out of a distorted frequency.
Yeah.
It is that insidious.
Yes.
And it is that kind of under the surface that we wouldn't, who would know how?
Well, right. Like, because I'm thinking, you know, the television has a lot to answer for. But when you think, yeah, you could chuck your television out the window. And as you say, with these 5G masts and whatnot,
Yep.
we can just, you know, we're just really up against it, aren't we?
Yeah.
At every
Yes,
angle.
but not from a hopeless point of view,
No.
right? Okay, and also not
Because
from
you've made us aware now.
yes, and it's also it doesn't mean like we need to go all run out and buy tinfoil hats and you know to turn all our Wi-Fi off. You know, might help. It might help. I mean, the amount of Alexas I've got in my house is actually outrageous. So I am a bit like Jesus. I must be being fried right now. There are things we could, but this is why I say it, right? Make choices. So I haven't drunk fluoride in my water for the last year and a half.
Yeah.
I have a special machine that gets rid of all the microplastics, all the fluoride, because that was something I wanted to use, fluoride-free toothpaste. That was something that I felt cool to do, and so I just did it. But there's plenty of other things like that I'm still doing that I could not be doing, but I made a decision very early on that I wasn't going to get overwhelmed with everything because it was just too much, and then that in itself is not good.
No.
Take bits that resonate with you.
Yeah.
Do what you do. You know, do what you can. Turn your router off at night if you want to. If that's like doable for you, turn it off.
Yeah.
You know, just be aware that these things are affecting you. They're distorting your frequency. They're distorting your reality without you realizing. And the most important thing, which I've made my point in this episode that I want to get across, is that you can absolutely right now, if you do nothing else, throughout your day, when you wake up in the morning, when you go to bed at night, and throughout the day, revoke consent to this false matrix. When I'm connecting in before I have my client sessions or before I do anything where I work with people, I always now see that golden net around me, that one connection to source, and I say I do not connect to the false matrix. I do not allow any of the false matrix to distort my connection. I connect only to the true source of who I am, the truth of who I am. I remember who I am. I am a sovereign being. Done. Because the problem is as well is if we're not aware of this and we think we're connecting in with, this is another thing that kind of like I was like, oh no, like, you know, if we're not aware of this potential false matrix, this infection in our simulation, and we think we're connecting to beings of light or beings that are giving us, you know, like when we're asking for help and stuff, what if they're distorting it? Now I don't know, but if we're being affected in that way, then it stands to reason if we're not getting through to our true connection and we're bouncing up against this net, which, going back to what I saw in my vision, is encompassing Earth and humanity. If we're getting stuck and trapped in there and the information is coming through here, potentially, this is just my kind of like hypothesis, it could be, you know, that the information we're getting could still be coming from from the light, but it could be distorted through the frequency, the energetic frequencies of the false matrix, or you could be connecting in with something that is from the false matrix. I don't know. And it's not that they're telling you to go out and be evil. Like all this stuff, the distortion isn't overtly like that, but it will send, like, you know, we know thoughts aren't our own. We know they're not. We're picking up thoughts from the field, right? It's that. It's these these like little, like the psychological stuff that interference that they're doing. You'll just get like a thought that is just a bit more negative, or the hopeless thoughts, or when you're hitting something that's kind of like going to help you remember who you are, they'll bring you down in some way. That's the distortion that I'm thinking about. So it's not fear like, oh, I'm connecting to some devil or some demon. It's not that. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm just talking about, remember the word distortion.
Yeah.
Because it makes it less scary.
Yeah, and interference
and distortion.
Yeah.
And it's done on, like I said, on this mind level.
Yeah.
It's not on an overtly kind of demon's going to get you in your sleep kind of level. But that's dangerous, more dangerous when a demon's coming after you. When I've had stuff like on my bed in the middle of the night, I know very well that's not me, and it's terrifying, but I'm like, that's not me, I need to get rid of it.
Yeah.
Whereas when it's your thoughts and it's what's coming in through you, well, then you don't know, do you? And that's how you get pushed down, and we forget who we are, and we lose hope, and we get stuck in their slavery system where we're basically food for them energetically.
Yeah.
That's what they're getting at. They're getting our energy. They're getting our fear, and fear is a great energy. Think of Monsters Inc.
Oh.
Just to put it very simply, think Monsters Inc.
Yeah.
And then that's pretty much what's happening here, along with other stuff.
Again, they're telling us what they're doing.
Right.
We watched the movie.
Watch the movies. Like, you'll see all these movies with a different head. When you think, you know, all the stuff where you see, like, when you've been on, like, scrolling on the internet or whatever, and you go, oh, look, they predicted the Twin Towers. Look at what happened with the Twin Towers and your prediction. No, they were telling you. They were pre-telling you in the open so that you could consent, so then they could do it. Just remember that.
Yeah.
And remember it for moving forward. Right. Because what are they doing now? All the alien stuff, all the files and stuff coming out, the wars, like what's like kind of coming out at the moment now. I think they're the main things at the moment, aren't they?
And there's always politics as well.
Yeah.
That's like a constant, isn't it?
Politics, the diseases, you know, all of the stuff, they're putting it out there so that they can get your consent first. They're putting it out in the open. Movies, watch all the movies moving forward with like just with a more open. And this isn't about becoming some like feeling like, you know, being really negative and becoming some crazy conspiracy theorist. It's not about that. It's about being open and questioning and just going, wonder how this could be taking away my sovereignty.
Yeah.
Always come back to this where I am a sovereign being. Yeah. I am a closed system. I am not consenting to any interference in my energetic field. Like, treat your energetic field like so preciously.
Yeah.
Be really protective over it. And you can if you're a visual person, you can visualize this in any way. I've told you how I visualize it, but you can do it in any way. Like, the most important thing to do is that from this moment forward, if nothing else, and even if you think Tash has lost the plot and she's crazy, but she's totally fine, please just be aware of this, and just whenever you can, revoke your consent. So I do not consent to this.
Imagine if we all do that.
Yeah, right?
We'll be like the elephants.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, I'm glad I've done this one because it's been on my mind for a while to get out there.
Yeah.
And I feel like I can relax now. It was like they were like knocking at me every time going, you have to say this, you have to say this, talk about this. Like, fine.
And it's really not scary. I don't know if it's you making it not scary. Well, it is you. But none of that scared me. It only empowered me.
Yeah.
So hopefully that'll do the same for everybody, and we can all be doing this.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And with that, let's just say, please, could you like and subscribe and possibly leave a beautiful review for us so we can push this out to the masses, because everybody needs to know this.
Yes.
And then, because that's going to help us, right?
100%.
If we all did that, the difference in the energetics, and we will rise up and be those elephants.
And yes. Just seen us all as like elephants, like trampling all over the humans.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just, it's within all of our interest. And to say, like, when we do this, when we do remember who we are and we remember our power, it's going to be a great world for everyone.
Exactly.
Like, when we get to live in a world that this was supposed to be, this Earth game, this simulation was supposed to be, it's going to be lovely. Like, yes, we have come down to learn lessons, but I'm starting to think that it wasn't supposed to be like this. And then we start thinking about the like getting caught in the reincarnation cycles, and that's another topic. But again, that was something that I had to fight with a long time.
Yeah.
Because of my QHHT sessions and what I saw. And I'm like, oh, that's really messing with me now, because when people were saying, you know, we're caught in this reincarnation cycle through trauma where we just keep coming back and back in this loop, and we're not choosing it, but we believe that we do have to come back.
Yeah.
And it's like this false light out there that's telling us you have to go back, and it's them doing it to us to keep getting our energy. Now that I really didn't like. I that came into my awareness about 2 years ago, and I was like, no, I'm not. I don't believe that. They're like these crazy people. And I wouldn't look at it until I got forced to look at it. And again, I like to look at it through not the negative perspectives, because people were just talking about it with like doom and gloom, like we've got no control. And again, it's that victim mindset I see, and I say no. I choose no. I choose sovereignty every time. Like I don't care now whatever it is I come up against. I'm always in the belief that we are not a victim, and we are absolutely supposed to have absolute control and dominion over our energies and over what our experience is. And the only reason we don't is because we give that power away. Whether it's, like we said, talking about the subconscious stuff, like we give a power away to other people, or whether we give our consent away unconsciously to these beings that are trying to like keep us in this loop to get energy, or whether we give ourselves away, you know, even in like dimensions that are like not on this realm,
Right.
to fear, to thought forms, to the fact that if we believe we have us trapped in an incarnation cycle, yes, that will happen. So again, it's like, I'm reinforcing this point of we must look at the light and the dark. I didn't want to look at that. I didn't even, because it scared me, because it went against my belief system, because I just automatically decided I didn't want to believe that. I ignored it for 2 years. But actually, when I looked at it through a lens still of empowerment, I could accept that could be true, but it doesn't have to mean that that's going to have to happen to me. Right. It was just another way of saying, wake up, remember who you are. We have to look at this dark stuff actually in order to remember who we are. And when I say remember who we are, that we are beings, like multidimensional beings that do actually have sovereignty, that we are not supposed to be controlled by other beings, but that there are other dark beings who don't come from love. They've forgotten for a long, long time ago who they were. This is how I see it. Like they've forgotten a long, long time ago who they were. And so now they are so disconnected from source that they don't have energy of their own. And so they have to take it from others, like a parasite. But it's only because they've forgotten who they are. So the answer to that isn't to fight them or to give our power away to them. It's to remember who we are. Remember that we are connected to source, and that we are sovereign, and we do not have to give our power away to anyone unless we so choose. But if we do consent to it, or if we do believe it to be so, then it will be so. So another thing that I told you, didn't I felt really passionate about when I finally did look at this whole reincarnation cycle thing, where, you know, people were saying that we're trapped in this cycle and that we keep coming back. When I finally looked at it, I was like, I'm glad I've looked at that now, because now I'm going to actively, when I die and I go to the place that so many people, near 100 people have told me about now, when they die in their past life regressions, when they go to the place what they say is the light, and like, oh, are you going to go back now? I'm going to question that, because I've now got awareness, and I'm going to question and say, hey, I'm a sovereign being. I do not consent. Like, I'm out of Earth now, but it's still relevant. All of these lessons are still relevant. I want people to have this when they cross over. I want them to have this knowledge, humans, when they cross over. They're up there. I do not consent to anything that takes away my sovereignty. I'm not going down there. I want to go to source, please. Take me to source, take me to the light first, and then I'll decide. And with that awareness and the belief, it's more important, the belief that no one can make me do anything. No one can reincarnate my soul if I do not give full, true consent. And I can't do that. I won't do that if I have now the awareness. I'm not going to give unconscious consent anymore to come back down here, because I have the awareness, so I can't. It's not unconscious anymore. It's conscious, right? So now I'm making a choice. They cannot do it to you. So I really want to make that clear. If you've ever come across this whole reincarnation cycle thing, don't push it under the carpet like I did. Don't be scared by it. Use it as information to help push you further to remember who you are, to help solidify your sovereignty, and remind yourself in every moment when you're alive on earth, and also when you cross over, that you are always a sovereign being, that you always have control, you always have choice, and you can revoke it whenever you want to. Just do it every day.
Yeah.
Do it every day. There. I'm going to stop talking now. Wow.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And that's so much more powerful, isn't it? Once you, I mean, you need to go through all these stages of the journey to get to the point where you have really dropped the fear. And then I think once you're, like you were saying, you know, once you are not being controlled by the fear and being empowered, and you're not scared anymore to say, I have sovereignty, I am in control here. Wow. That must be a real shift, mustn't it? For them to feel, and for us collectively to feel.
Yeah.
So it's pushing, but that's why they, like in the beginning of our journey, like they just bang on and on and on about the fear. False ego appearing real. Don't give in to the fear. Da, da, da. And it's so hard not to when you're so fearful.
Yeah.
But once you've got to the stage that we are now, and you truly believe that nothing can hurt you, then this is the next level, isn't it?
Yes.
So this is going to really knock their socks off. So
Now, this is how we get our power back. It isn't always in the fighting and the protesting and the, you know, all of
we
that
don't need
stuff.
to do that.
It's an energetic war. It's an energetic battle. And we said this like about 3 years ago. We were like, we can feel that we are being prepared, like we're soldiers in training, being prepared for this energetic war.
Yeah.
And at some point, we're going to almost get a call and go, this is it, girls. This is what you've been training for. Get out there and do it. And we've been saying, like, literally in the last few months, we can really feel like we're getting closer to the battlefield here. It's like it's getting real now.
Yeah.
It's actually getting real.
Yeah. And I'm just not scared anymore. And I think that says to me that it's close.
Yeah.
Because you're ready.
Yeah. And, you know, just to go back to the whole, you have sovereignty. And when you say, I am a sovereign being, it's powerful. It is, because if you go back to our very, very early episodes where we spoke about, I think the episode was called something like our spooky childhood experiences or something like that. And I shared about when I had my sleep paralysis episode, and there was this horrible kind of like demony thing, and how terrified I was, and how I spent a lot of my childhood terrified of things at nighttime that would come in my room that I couldn't necessarily see all the time, but I felt them and knew they were there. And as soon as I faced up to the fact that they were real, because for so much of my life I just told myself, again, like the reincarnation thing, like everything else, like it's not real, you know, this is just me. As soon as I actually faced up to it and said, okay, it is real, but now what am I going to do about it? I'm sovereign, I have dominion, like da da da, and I put that into practice. The first time I felt an energy come in my room, I did that and it disappeared in an instant. I've spoke about it in the episode. I've spoken about it before. Now, like when stuff does come in my bedroom, I can get rid of it. Doesn't mean it's always easy. They will put up a fight.
Yeah.
But as long as you really hold on to the fact that you are sovereign and you cannot do this to me, I will not give you my power.
No.
I will not give away my power to you. I was particularly your fear. I will not let you scare me. Go away.
Yeah.
Get gone.
Wow.
And bam, they are
That's
gone.
all they've got, isn't it?
Yes. And so that's why I'm really passionate about this whole sovereignty thing.
Yeah.
Because on that level, so let's say on the micro level, I've seen it in action. I've experienced it and felt it in action, and it's changed for that, and I say it's changed my life, but it is, well, I spent years being scared of these beings, and now when they do come, which is not so often anymore, but when they do, it's done. It's done within
just
15,
energy.
20 minutes. The energy's done. And so I know that this is real, which is why I have such a solid belief that when I came across this next deeper level of this false matrix that we are actually living in, I know that if we do the same thing, and if you do the same thing, and say that you're sovereign and don't give away your consent and don't give them your power, don't give them your fear when you see the news and you see the next hantavirus outbreak or Ebola virus outbreak. I just laugh now. I'm
Me
like,
too.
haha, funny.
Yeah.
Funny.
They're trying again.
Yeah. And that's not giving consent.
How quickly they're all disappearing.
Exactly.
Because obviously on the collective, we're all doing that.
Yes. So just be careful, because I'm saying right now, they've like done all the disclosure and they've like disclosed alien stuff, and it's all kind of gone under the surface, but they've said that they've got crafts and they confirmed that there's alien beings. Why are they giving that to you? Because why are they even giving this now?
Yeah,
like,
no
they've
pictures.
never want to give you anything for no reason. They're doing it to set you up.
Yeah.
So what are they doing? My guess is at some point they're going to want to fake some kind of alien invasion, or they're going to want to scare you. And the reason that they've done that is them in plain sight going, here we go. We're now letting you know that, yes, aliens do exist, so that now they can scare you. Because if they hadn't done that before, an alien invasion isn't going to be that scary, because you're all going to be like, well, what?
Yeah.
Now they've told you and let you believe, and you've consented that you believe that, okay, aliens are real because they've told us. Now they can scare you with a real fear if aliens are going to invade, or something to do with aliens. Just everything. It's such a game. Once you're aware and you're awake, to the person who's not, you can sound like an absolute loon ball, and that's okay. But I'm in the business of trying to get as many people aware of this as possible, so we can all pull ourselves out of this false matrix and we can just let it collapse. Because energetically, that's what I was doing years ago, and now it's happening in the physical, which is really exciting. So yeah, okay, right. I'm done. But I feel really good for doing this episode now. I was a bit like, I don't know what's going to come out. I don't know where we're going to go.
We were like,
to say,
it might just
be half an hour.
Yeah, half an hour. No.
An hour later. But anyway, do you know what? Would love to hear. Comment on wherever you're watching this, on Spotify. I don't know if you can do it on Apple, or YouTube, or if you can't comment on that, come over onto our social media at Be Your Best You podcast, and just let us know what you think of this episode. I'm so intrigued to wonder how many people are there going, oh no, Tash, what you're saying makes sense.
Right.
Or Tash and Beck's unsubscribing. Let us know. I'm so curious. But anyway, until next time, guys, go and revoke your consent. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.